Hey, I'm Adam Lambert, and I'm playing the role of Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl.
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz?
My first memory of Jesus Christ Superstar was hearing the vinyl of the original concept recording. My father actually had it from the 70s, from when he was a teenager, and really loved this music. And I had started to get into musical theater, and this was sort of our way of bonding over something that was considered a musical, but also considered rock and roll. He thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool. And that's the first time I heard it.
Why should you want to know?
I think the thing that draws me to Judas, it's always been what he gets to sing. I mean, musically, it's like a really satisfying vocal part. I think character-wise, I like that he's the cynic. I like that he's criticizing and asking questions and willing to sort of rebel against what all the other apostles and Jesus are trying to accomplish. He feels like he's being the voice of reason. I think I do tend to analyze things sometimes. Hard truths are something that I like to voice. So I think I have that sort of same impulse that Judas has. I think Jesus Christ Superstar resonates with generation after generation. You know, obviously the story of Jesus is a pretty timeless tale. You know, the story of Jesus is the basis for the most major religion in the world, or one of the most major religions. It's a really interesting way of telling the story because it humanizes both Jesus, Judas. It asks the audience to look at it not from the point of view of the scriptures of the Bible, but as just a human story. We don't get into a lot of supernatural or God type things in this story. It's about the people on earth and what they experience. Well, I think this production of Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl is going to be musically really right on. You know, Cynthia as Jesus, she's an incredible vocalist and an incredible actress. There's a lot of killer voices that have been cast. We're gonna have like a full orchestra, which will be very exciting. And hopefully, you know, with the casting that they've done on this, it's a slightly different take on this show that has been around for a long time. That had been done many, many times. Having Jesus being played by a black woman who is queer is like very exciting. If you go back to the 70s when the concept album first came out, I think one of the things that made this piece controversial was that it was the story of Jesus being told with rock music. And at the time, rock music was transgressive and rebellious and edgy, and I think that's what created a lot of blowback for this. And you know, the best art, the best pieces of live entertainment are polarizing. They elicit a response, whether it's good or bad. And I think this show has the potential to continue to do that. I think in 2025, rock music doesn't necessarily have that same sort of rebellious nature. And so I think where they've accomplished that in this version is with the casting. It's asking the audience to completely suspend their disbelief, to look at this story through a completely different lens, and that's exciting. It's exciting to be a part of that, and hopefully people will walk away, even if they've seen Jesus Christ Superstar dozens of times, maybe they'll walk away with a new impression of the story, or a new impression of these characters. I mean, I'd make a killer Norma Desmond, but that would be just, maybe a little too far. I would love to hear I Don't Know How to Love Him sung by Billie Eilish. I think that would be really interesting. It would be very soft and intimate, and she would just make it heart crushing and sort of super melancholy. I would love to hear her take on it. I grew up doing musicals. I started when I was 10. My first role was Linus in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. As soon as I did that first production, I was hooked and just kept doing musicals all throughout my teenage years. Even into my 20s, that's the profession I was following. I was in professional musical theater productions and paying rent doing that. And then I got on TV and things shifted and I went into music. But I had just gotten back into theater this last year. I did a 6-month run of Cabaret on Broadway as the MC, and it just really was so good for my spirit. Getting back on stage in a musical, playing a character that wasn't myself, and getting to be with theater people. And audiences of this medium are incredible, and I had an amazing time. So I'm glad to get back into another production. I like this because Jesus Christ Superstar is sort of a hybrid between a traditional musical and a rock concert, especially doing it outdoors at the Hollywood Bowl with a big orchestra. So I think it'll feel sort of like the best of both worlds for me. If I had a tip for a young actor wanting to get into a career in musical theater, I would say get ready to be rejected. Don't give up. Just be ready. Ready for disappointments and not getting the part or almost getting the part. You got to be able to roll with the punches. So start mentally preparing yourself for that now. The people that really seem to make it are people that persevere and they just keep going and they go for the next audition and they don't let not getting a part slow them down. That's what I would say. Just get ready because it's not going to be yeses all the time.